Leo, Organizing Chairman, Past Governor City, and Rotarians from all over. Good afternoon, Selamat Petang, Ni Hao, Vanakkam. Greetings to all Rotarians and welcome to the first ever virtual 85th Rotary International District Conference. Technology is so amazing that we have Rotarians from a total of 12 countries live with us. Over 400 people on Zoom and another 100 plus watching us live on Facebook. Gone are the days when number of attendees were limited. Our digital boundaries are endless. However, we cannot deny that although these current times are challenging, we all have learned to adapt and adopt to the new norm. Saying this, I hope all of you are keeping safe and healthy. Jangan kesini kesana ya. It's been a task for the organizing team to put together this virtual conference. Not only have we now become quote-unquote experts on online communication, we have learned so many new things. Kudos to the team. This virtual conference will be happening over a 2 half-day period with a spectrum of speakers, topics, Rotary Awards and recognitions, live streaming of international speakers. So let's get this conference started. I'd like to bring live to your screen the district's trainer and organizing chairman of this 85th District Conference, Past Governor City. City, the screen is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just been introduced to the 83 Rotary Clubs of District 3300 Malaysia, which starts from north, the state of Perlis, and down to Negeri Sembilan, down south. A very good afternoon, Salam Rotary, and welcome to the 85th District Conference. Governor Leo Cheng Lim, Rotary dignitaries, Rotractors, Intractors, my fellow Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are truly blessed to be able to experience a watermark moment where Rotarians from over 12 countries coming together, not only Rotarians, but also friends of Rotary, friends from near and afar, from countries like Singapore, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Philippines, Hong Kong, UK, Nigeria, Nepal, Brunei, Indonesia, and Thailand. Your presence in gracing our conference adds to the grandeur of this virtual event. On behalf of our district, I thank you for joining us this afternoon. As Rotarians, we adapt to change. the global pandemic brought about innovative ways of how we could continue to do good and remain connected, serving and engaging with our community, albeit differently. It was amazing how Rotary responded to the call of this unprecedented global crisis, which every one of us could relate to. Organizing our virtual conference is really no different when COVID-19 made it difficult for any form of gatherings and our district conference was to be cancelled. But the district training team and the secretariat decided to step up. Building on the resources that we have with us, we created the storyboard. You would not believe what we went through behind the scenes. It was mind-boggling. Buns for dinner, sleepless nights, and everything else that went in. But thank you. Thank you, everyone who had been part of this historical moment of us. I must, however, mention a group of special people, wonderful Rotarians who actually made this even more memorable for us. I call them the Green Team. We have the Mr. No Problem. Anything will do, and that's our District General Secretary, Rotarian Lim Po Hu from the Rotary Club of Puchong Centennial. Our ever-smiling Charter President of the Rotary Club of Kampong Baru, Rotarian Millie Zulkifli, who is also our District Public Image Chair. Perhaps Millie is the one who kept us all sane throughout this session. Our tech twins, past Assistant Governors Raj Malambaram from the Rotary Club of Subang and Nagesh Mahajan from the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur Diraja. Their fingers by now must be really numb. They were fiddling and fiddling and fiddling until they got it right. And finally, the man from Sentul, our very loud Deputy District Trainer, Kati Palanisamy. I cannot thank the team enough for going the extra mile to bring this event together in the next 2 days. Perhaps it is our love for Rotary and also our love for the district governor. And speaking on the district governor, the moment has come. The moment to invite the Rotarian of the Year, an individual who have led the district with passion and humility. He started the year with a vision to create a dynamic district, a district with action service-oriented clubs. And despite the challenges he had for the last 4 months, he continued to motivate and inspire his club presidents and Rotarians and to ensure that they meet their goals. Without his magnanimous leadership, we all wouldn't be here today. It is my honor, Governor Liu Cheng Lim, to now call upon you and invite you to take the center stage of this 85th District Conference. Thank you.
Mr. President Mark Moloney of Rotary International, past Rotary International President K.R. Ravindran, incoming Rotary Foundation Trustee Chair, my fellow Rotarians and Rotary friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to the first virtual Rotary District 330 conference online. As most of you know, if there had not been for the COVID-19 pandemic, it would have been our Rotary International President, Mark Moloney, himself standing before you in our conference today. As for me, I can barely express my disappointment on hearing that President Mark and First Lady Gay will not be coming to our conference after all. It took great strength and courage to cancel our 85th District Conference last month in May and many other Rotary events as the health and safety of all is of our utmost concern. The same strength provided us the commitment to ensure Rotary continue to connect with our Rotarians and community at large, just as Rotary connects the world. Nevertheless, today, I'm filled with excitement, for we are still able to have our RI President, Mark Maloney, incoming Trustee Chair, past RI President, K.R. Ravindran, and other distinguished speakers with us online in this virtual conference. I must thank our district trainer, PDG City, Subaida, and her dedicated team members for the many hours of hard work to deliver this two-day virtual district conference and make it a reality in such a short notice. Last but not least, my sincere appreciation to all for taking precious time off to go online for this conference. And it is your kind attendance that engages us together to connect as Rotary connects the world. I would like to share with you our year in office, me and my club president.
Thank you, Governor Leo. You are truly a Rotary leader. Before we switch into our next plenary session, here is a quick overview of our conference and the program for the next 2 days. Today, we've got lined up for you Rotary International Mark Maloney's message. We've got the session on honoring our next Arch Clump Society Chairs Circle. We have a chat with K.R. Ravindran, past Rotary International President. We're also having our District TRF Awards and Recognitions. We have a segment on knowing our District Governor Nominee Designate, and a panel discussion called Frankly Speaking. Tomorrow, day 2, we'll have a segment on our efforts during the COVID, Rotary Malaysia's response to COVID-19. We will have a speaker, Tan Sri Jamila Mahmud, founder of Mercy Malaysia. Another session on Heroes of Malaysia. And we have the most awaited session, the District Awards and Recognition. And we will do our handover, followed by our traditional Auld Lang Syne. This is a sum up of our program for the next 2 days. So stay tuned and log on to Zoom. Don't leave us, stay right to the end. We now move to our next session. Every day, in some small way, memories of you come our way. Though absent you are, ever near, still missed, still loved, and ever dear. Us physically. Nevertheless, we go on to our next session where he joins us virtually, all the way from Evanston, United States of America, with his Rotary message. Let's hear from the man himself, Rotary International President, Mark Maloney.
Hello, fellow Rotarians. I am Mark Maloney, the President of Rotary International for 2019-2020. I know that this is an unusual way for us to meet, but these are unusual times. And we are certainly doing our best to meet the Rotary Action Plan goal of increasing our ability to adapt. As the COVID-19 crisis began to impact the world, country by country, Rotary's way of reaching out hand to hand, person to person, had to be put aside. But our powerful need to connect with each other has never waned, and our unique ability to lead and work with global organizations has never been more important. As I have watched the many ways you and all within the family of Rotary have connected the world with your actions and your compassion, I have never been prouder to be a Rotarian. We are facing a serious but temporary challenge. We will get through this by working together and taking care of each other. Just what Rotary members do. I know this because Rotary connects the world. And this has never been just a slogan for me. I really believe it. Rotary Connects the World is a description of how and why Rotarians achieve so much. We invest in relationships. We make decisions grounded in evidence. We know how to mobilize our networks to create solutions that last. And we are always learning from our experiences in projects, clubs, and careers. In this time of social distancing, everyone feels a renewed hunger for meaningful social connection. We miss seeing our friends face to face. We yearn for the kinds of meaningful conversations and shared experiences that we may have taken for granted for much of our lives. In short, people are looking for the Rotary experience now more than ever. As we use our connections to recover from this era of distance, we will face new opportunities to grow Rotary in innovative, sustainable ways. Thank you for your leadership at this important time. Take care of each other. I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
This brings us very nicely to our next session. But before we go there, we're just going to give a shout out to all of you who are in the hall. We have approximately 500 Rotarians in and out of the Zoom hall. Amazing, isn't it? And we have close to nearly 200 people on Facebook. With that, let's move on to the next session. And this session is the Rotary Foundation transforms your gifts into projects that change lives, both close to home and around the world. As all Rotarians know, the Rotary Foundation is the bedrock of Rotary. Before moving into our next session, which will be presided over by our Rotary Foundation Chair, past Governor Leslie, let's watch a video of the good work the Rotary Foundation does.
Thank you, PP Sam, for your kind introduction. Indeed, the Rotary Foundation is not only the bedrock of Rotary, it is the service arm of Rotary. Governor Leo, Rotary dignitaries, Rotary friends, and friends and partners of Rotary. The Rotary Foundation has expended more than $4 billion on life-changing sustainable projects, as well as programs that fosters international understanding, global peace, and vocational and technical upskilling. Rotarians from District 3300 have generously supported our foundation over the years, and with their continued generosity, we can together make lives better and to do good in our community and in the world. We are also indeed honored to have the incoming Rotary Foundation Trustees Chair, past RI President Ravi, to witness and grace this virtual recognition of all Rotarians and clubs that have made a difference despite the pandemic. These are the different levels of recognition of the Rotary Foundation. It does not matter whether you're a sustaining member or an Arch Club Society member or a Legacy Society member. what is important is your generosity in supporting the foundation. And the Arch Clump Society is named after past RI President Arch Clump, whose brainchild 103 years ago transformed USD $26.50 into one of the best endowed and well-managed philanthropic foundations. Rotarians whom donate at least $250,000 are inducted into the exclusive Arch Clump Society. And in our district, past Governor Datuk Jimmy Lim and Datin Brenda was recognized as the first Arch Clump Society trustee circle from our district. And we are extremely delighted to add to the roll of honor our district's second Arch Clump Society member in our district's first couple, District Governor Liu Cheng Lim and First Lady Bee Hong. And with that, I would like to now invite Governor Liu and First Lady Bee Hong to be recognized on live.
Undeniably that in trying times like these, the needs and priorities of us as human beings have changed. Many are forced into circumstances not asked for. The need to be financially secure becomes somewhat more important than usual. But as Rotarians, the need to continue giving and the need to continue changing lives doesn't change. The Rotary Foundation survives because Rotarians like Liu Cheng Lim believe that giving can only make lives better, more so in these challenging times. His contribution to the Rotary Foundation is admirable and must surely be recognized. The amount of 2 million ringgit is truly something to applaud, and his generosity and humble intentions to give deserves a standing ovation. Dedicated to doing service in Rotary since 1993, driven by his vocation as a radiographer and his love for doing good. A philanthropist, now a Rotary Arch Clump Society Chair Circle. An example of a true Rotarian, Liu Cheng Lim.
Lady Bee Hong, our Arch Clump Society Chair Circle.
Congratulations, Governor Liu and First Lady Bee Hong. You have no doubt made us proud. Our next section takes us all the way to Colombo. A chat with Ravi. Can I invite past Governor Dr. Arasu to introduce Rotary International past President Ravi.
Good afternoon, District Governor Leo, District Trainer City, our special guest this afternoon, past Rotary International President K.R. Ravindran, and past governors who are with us today, and my Rotary friends. It's a difficult decision to actually take up this challenge of introducing a very well-known Rotarian by the name of K.R. Ravindran. K.R. Ravindran is a level 4 major donor to the Rotary Foundation. He joined Rotary at the age of 21. He's a third generation Rotarian. His father and grandfather were Rotarians of the Rotary Club of Colombo. He served as district governor, trustee, director, and Rotary International committees. And he went on to chair some of the international committees as well. He was an international training leader, and he was instrumental in the New Vision Plan. And also, he initiated and started the strategic plan of Rotary International as well. So he had actually played a key role in many of our Rotary work. He's the CEO of Primcare International, specializing in packaging and printing. And his company is a public listed company, and he serves more than 70% of the world's tea industry. His company has won many international awards, both in Sri Lanka as well as internationally. And not only that, he has also done a lot to the service of the people of Sri Lanka. He was the founding president of the Anti-Narcotics Association of Sri Lanka. And from there, he moved on to take the challenge of rebuilding the schools in Sri Lanka. Basically, that was his pet project, in which he calls it the reawakening of schools. 25 such schools, 25 such modern schools were built around the island. And today, they're well used or utilized by 15,000 children. The cost of this mega project came to about 12 million US dollars. Now he raised it both locally and internationally, and it's serving the people well. Then he went on further to set up a state-of-the-art laboratory in Sri Lanka recently for the COVID virus pandemic. And it's not only addressing the virus issues, it's also addressing any issues related to virus or any diseases in particular. Now, what Ravi is well known is he negotiated a peace treaty with the militants of Sri Lanka, where the wars in Sri Lanka had stopped, where he requested the war to stop, working with UNICEF and the Sri Lankan government. And after he had done that, the polio team could go in and immunize the children of the world. And Sri Lanka was the first country in Southeast Asia, to be polio free. Now, going on to the his many other contributions is he has chaired many institutes. He has participated in many international awakening programs, and he was awarded the TRF Meritorious Service Award, the Distinguished Service Award, and the Service Award for the Polio-Free World. He was honored by the government of Sri Lanka on an ambassador's position, which he did not accept. He was also honored of being a governor of a province in Sri Lanka, in which he did not accept as well. Now, the government of Sri Lanka instead gave him the Jewel of Sri Lanka, and in his honor, a postage stamp was released in Sri Lanka. Now, there are many things. He's married to, of course, Vanati, and Vanati is a social worker. She also heads a couple of voluntary organizations. Being an economics graduate, she's able to negotiate a lot of things with the government as well. Now, my friends, they were also blessed with 2 children, a boy and a girl, and they also have 1 grandchild. That's in brief, very brief, of our great leader, K.R. Ravindran, who will take up the chair of the Rotary Foundation from 2000 to 2001. A visionarian and a man who walks the talk. Thank you.
And that was Arasu introducing past President Ravi.
Thank you.
Rotarians, let's go live now to Colombo and have a chat with Ravi.
Hi, am I live now? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. So, Arasu, thank you very much for inviting me and for that very generous introduction. You have redefined the meaning of brief, and I have to change my dictionary now because if that was a brief introduction, I'm wondering what you're going to do with me if I ask you to make a long introduction. Let me start by first paying a tribute to your district governor, Leo Cheng Lim. Not just because he's reached such a high level in the Arch Clump Society circles, at Chair Circle, but because of his leadership by example. What a leader. You know, I have often wondered what makes people like Leo Cheng Lim tick. Why do they give away so much of money? I mean, I understand that everyone who gives is not, a Warren Buffett or a Bill Gates, or it's not because they have surplus cash. They are, I have come to this conclusion that they are generous because generosity is all about kindness. They give because it makes them feel good. They give because it strengthens personal values. They cater to their social conscience. They give, I think, because by giving, they share the experience of giving and thus be an example perhaps to the younger generation, the future generation, so that they too can make positive changes to the world through these gifts. They give because they want to make a difference, and because they know that through the foundation, we are definitely making a difference. They will give because we live in a world where each one of us is vulnerable to terror, disease, and all those other challenges that millions of people face. I think they give because they know that 10% of the world's population live in reasonable comfort, whilst there is a great proportion of the rest who are hungry, homeless, jobless, ill, disabled, desperate, isolated, ignored. These are the ones which our foundation supports. And I think they give because they know the world will thrive only when men and women like us plant trees, even though we may never benefit from its shade. So I'm going to ask you, wherever you are in your homes, officers, to raise your glasses in a toast to this extraordinarily generous person who is your district governor. To District Governor.
District Governor.
All right, now let me get back to talking about the foundation. And before that, I have made up my mind that now I have to make use of this, your district governor's skills next year. I can't let this go. But now, allow me to preface my comments on Rotary by first framing the current context of the situation around us, around the world. We know for thousands of years a parasite with no name lived happily among horseshoe bats in southern China. It found itself a new host, human beings. From that one human being that seemed so long time ago, but in reality just maybe 4 or 5 months, today we are almost at 7.7 million positive cases around the world and nearly 430,000 deaths. For literally the whole world, the coronavirus pandemic has been a life-changing event. Even if you are untouched by the disease itself, the upheaval caused by the virus will have a profound effect on many people's livelihoods and life circumstances. Never before, except in wartime, have whole industries shut down and consumer demand dropped so far, so fast. We can see how badly the hospitality industry, including hotels and restaurants, the entertainment industry, the sports and fitness areas, construction, airline, travel, automotive, apparel, retail, are all suffering. And they are going to suffer for some time. We know we're going to see a surge of bankruptcies, some big names going down. On April 20th, for instance, oil became less than worthless. The American benchmark plummeted to minus $40 a barrel. Can you imagine? The oil producers had to pay someone for taking the oil they produce. I don't have to tell you, because analysts warn that your own country may lose some 31 billion ringgit in revenue this year due to the low price of crude. Now, according to the ILO, 1.6 billion people around the world employed in the informal economy, or nearly half the world's global workforce, could see their livelihoods destroyed. Of course, there are exceptions. I mean, a Bloomberg report I read recently shows that home entertainment like Netflix is booming. Online retail like Amazon, retail giants like Walmart, virtual communications like Zoom, they're all going through the roof. But there is no question that in general, this virus has disrupted modern society on a scale that today's generation has never seen. And now it's abundantly clear that the world cannot fully emerge from its current status until a vaccine is found. At this time, there are nearly 115 vaccine candidates in varying stages of development, with some already entering clinical trials. Moderna, the Massachusetts biotech company, did its phase 1 clinical trials involving 45 healthy men and women. University of Oxford and AstraZeneca are reportedly on track with advanced human studies, another vaccine. The US has put in $1.2 billion into AstraZeneca's vaccine development. They've also backed Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and France's Sanofi. Merck, the US drug giant, is developing 2 vaccines. And one of them is a tablet, which is their background of creating something for Ebola. I would say they're well on way. Then you have President Xi Jinping's government, who throws the full might of the Chinese state behind his own vaccine developers. So I guess we need to wait for these vaccines to be produced affordably in billions of doses, and then it needs to be distributed world over, and that will require an unprecedented global effort. We just need to wait patiently. But of this, there is little doubt. The world is going to be very different over the next 12 months or maybe 18 months. The new normal will be an ill, more cautious, less cheerful, and a poorer world. It will be at once a mask-wearing culture and more data sharing, but more individualistic, as people and families strive to protect themselves from the outside world. Now, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because Rotary is a microcosm of the world. Thus, it cannot be any different. The problems the world faces, Rotary is also going to face. Clubs are not meeting, we know that. The lockdown has literally put out all clubs' physical meetings out of action. But we have managed to get around it to a large extent with this concept of Zoom meetings. Zoom, like Google, has become, it's become part of our lexicon, our language. Membership and contributions in the normal course could suffer, should suffer. But having said that, I must tell you that Rotarians are very unusual. At the most difficult times, they seem to thrive. Let me take you back the last time we had a major pandemic like this. In 1919, almost 100 years ago, when the Spanish flu hit us just after World War I, the Spanish flu, as you know, affected 500 million people and killed between 50 and 80 million people. The membership of Rotary actually went up by 19%. In 1921, after the World War I, when we had this major recession, the membership of Rotary actually increased by 26%. In 1957, after the Asian flu, the membership of Rotary went up by 3%. In 2009, after the swine flu, membership did not increase, but annual giving went up by 20%. So you can see we go against the tide. And I won't be surprised at all if you will see a similar trend after this catastrophe that affected us. But one thing that was very joyful to see was the immediate response, the follow-up responses, and then the major responses by country after country, district after district, zone after zone, across the world, all of them in their own ways, including your own country and your own district. And Foundation itself reacted very, very fast. You know, the moment the pandemic was announced, we put out $1 million from our World Fund to be distributed to districts on the basis of $25,000 per district on a first-come, first-served basis. It was gone like that. Then we put in another $2 million that also went off. And we know that when at $25,000, there is only a limited number of districts that we could give. I mean, we had over 160 applications, and we could give only a fraction of that at $25,000. You know, 60 or 70 districts we gave out. In fact, we've given out a total of 210 grants for an amount of $5.8 million. $3 million from the World Fund. The balance 2.2 came from DDF transfers and general fund transfers, refunds from the convention, and sundry amounts like that. In addition to that, the global grants, in fact, we are finished. All the money we had exhausted. We gave out 216 global grants, including 47 which were repurposed at approximately $14.2 million. All this literally over 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, I know of grants which were approved in 1 day, 2 days. And mind you, the entire Rotary International staff is now not working in Evanston from their building. They're all working from homes. In fact, I told the General Secretary that, you know, your staff works better from home than in the office. Maybe you should keep them there. The way they did magnificently. So when I look at the way we reacted to the pandemic, the way clubs reacted, with the way Rotarians reacted, I feel very heartened. But I know that next year is going to be a challenge. I mean, as the incoming chair of our foundation, I have a very onerous responsibility of steering our foundation, perhaps at the most challenging of times. Sometimes I even worry, am I the best person to serve in a situation like this? Do they not deserve someone better than me? I have been asking how we can make our foundation more relevant to the immediate needs and requirements. How do we strengthen the World Fund in these times so that we don't have to take actions like removing the cash match? How we can be better attuned to today's dramatically changed environment? How do we help clubs do projects more relevant to the times, and what we do to do it in a strikingly impactful manner? How do we find external partners who will fund our projects? How do we reach out to clubs in Europe and the US, clubs who have lost many members to the virus, physically lost, dead to the virus? How can we play a significant role in the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines when they become available? When I told you they will become available, can we play a role? After all, we are better equipped than anyone else on earth to do so, thanks to our polio efforts. How do we make sure that we raise money for polio and be able to take advantage of the Gates match which still stays? If we don't raise money, we lose that money also. So we need to find the money. In fact, right now, there's a crisis of sorts because President Trump formally announced his withdrawal of the US from the WHO. And we've been running around trying to make good any money that we might lose on that. And the US, you know, is because the US is the single largest contributor to the WHO at $400 million annually. And public health experts have warned that a suspension of those funds would severely damage the foundation, damage the organization. I must tell you though, that although our polio immunization activities are in a sort of a pause mode at the moment, the polio infrastructure Rotary helped build is being used to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 by supporting preparedness and response activities in many countries, just as we did in the past to respond to outbreaks of Ebola, yellow fever, and avian flu. In many places like Nigeria, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, polio staff are the ones tracing contacts and testing for COVID-19. But you need to understand that it's not still business as usual. It's the same business that we always do, reaching out to people in distress. But our methodology by which we do needs to change. Our process of preparing and delivering the project needs to change. The way we communicate what we do needs to change. Public health emergencies like the coronavirus can bring out the worst in people, but it can also provide inspiring examples of people choosing to be kind. We want to belong to that second type. Remember, every crisis has its heroes. Every disaster, its displays of selflessness and sacrifice. Every catastrophe brings forth its share of people who demonstrate compassion, courage, consideration, and love. Firefighters race into burning buildings. Police officers place themselves in the line of fire. Soldiers march into war. And now, amidst this pandemic, healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, support staff, ambulance drivers, hospital technicians, they all risk becoming infected themselves. They all risk infecting their own families. They're all making extraordinary sacrifices to care for the rest of us. And I hope Rotary clubs like yours and others will lavishly bestow on them the recognition and rewards they so richly deserve. You see, situations like this also reveals the most unlikely heroes even in Rotary. That's because there lies in each Rotarian, like your district governor, a passion that only needs to be awakened. There are the types of Rotarians who have the vision to see what others cannot. The problem, the potential, the promise, and the purpose. All of your ideas may not work, but your passion that you bring to bear will have a tremendous impact. I'm trying to explain to you what I mean by passion. You know, back home in my country, two of my closest Rotary friends, Abbas and Ajay, were along with me over a drink talking of a situation in our country of children with mental health issues. 20% of children in Sri Lanka were affected by disabilities. 1 in 93 have been diagnosed as autistic. As in other developing countries, cerebral palsy affects something like 2 to 5% of our children. In a situation like this, we could only shrug our shoulders and criticize the government for not doing anything about it. But our passion got the better of us. We could visualize a properly equipped center to treat children with such disabilities. So the right people were spoken to, and they became partners to the project. The University of Colombo made available the land, 13 or 14 acres. The Sri Lankan army built the premises in under 18 months with 2 major cash infusions of US $1 million from my 2 companies, the companies of my friends Abbas and Ajay. I must tell you, Abbas and Ajay are lousy Rotarians. They never come from the meetings. Once in a way, they get a letter saying they're going to get sacked. But we need Rotarians like that as well. Just coming to meetings alone is not everything. Rotarians made available equipment with Rotary Foundation global grants totaling about $350,000. Building and equipping was easy. Sustainability was the key in the long term. So we negotiated a deal with the Faculty of Medicine of the university that they would absorb all the operational and maintenance costs. They would provide trained professionals in the field of disability studies and take care of initial screening and interventions. In turn, they got from us a 42,000 square feet center of world class, as good as anything you can find in your country or in the United States to operate from. The center already has registered outdoor patients from around the country, numbering almost 5,000. All of them provided with services free of charge. It's a remarkable project, the type of projects that the new programs of scale, which we launch next year, could deal with. This was not one of those projects, but that's the type of projects that the programs of scale is trying to do. Large projects where we bring in outsiders, we put some money, others put more money, and we do something substantial. So I ask you to be hopeful. And I tell you that here is an opportunity for many of our members to become heroes because we face these challenges, and during these challenges there's a time when we can really blossom. We will of course be measured on our ability to handle the current adversity and uncertainty. I know it's easy to say. I know it's going to be a challenge, and many of us worry. But as someone said, what use is our worry right now? Worry is like a rocking chair. Gives you something to go up and down, but doesn't get you anywhere. So I said, see, once a Persian king once called his wise men and asked for a coat that would make him happy when he was sad and sad when he was happy. So they thought for a bit and they told him the quote. He was so impressed that he had it inscribed on his ring. The quote was simply this: "This too shall pass." So my friends, this too shall pass. The world at this time is in an induced coma, but it's not going to be permanently hobbled. As history has shown before, this world will also bounce back. About a month or two ago, in only her 5th address to the nation in her long 69-year reign as monarch, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II closed her remarks with the eponymous line from Vera Lynn's best-known song, "We'll Meet Again." So we should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. And we will meet again in person. Thank you very much for having me with you.
Thank you. Thank you, RI President Ravi. It was indeed, before you came on board, every one of us was asking the questions. What's going to happen to our membership? What's going to happen to our giving? Will we be getting grants? But President Ravi, in your last 20 minutes, you actually have answered all the questions that is bothering all of us. You gave, as usual, it's your style. Your honest and candid insight into what we should be looking for. You gave us, the Rotarians, a perspective, and a perspective of something that you gave us the confidence now that we should actually move forward. And as you rightly say, Rotarians, they step up when there is pandemic. They are out there. They are probably the first ones who go down on ground. Thank you so much, President Ravi. And I think because of that, we don't even have questions from the list, from the chat for you, because I guess you have answered every one of us. Thank you for being with us. I know, in your busy schedule, and we all certainly look forward to your leadership next year as trustee chair. And once again, from all of us here in Malaysia and all our visiting Rotarians from all over the world, thank you for being with us and sharing your thoughts and insight.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seemed impossible to face, when someone else instead of
Good evening, fellow Rotarians. One of the principal tools that Rotary has is the Rotary Foundation. This is an organization within Rotary to which Rotarians and others contribute to yearly. The foundation began in 1917 with an initial contribution of $26.50. The RI president then, Arch Klump, suggested it to be channel to the people and the world. Today, thanks to all of you, it has grown to over $1 billion. I would like to call our past Governor Leslie, the chairman of the Rotary Foundation Committee, to do the recognition of the clubs and individuals who have contributed towards the district foundation. Over to you, Governor Leslie.
Thank you, PP Puni. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. We shall now resume the recognition of clubs and Rotarians who have generously supported the Rotary Foundation. How I wish we could be on stage with you all to shake your hands, present you the pins and certificates, but until normalcy returns, we shall not be able to do that. But at least you'll go down on record as been recognized virtually. This is the first and probably the only occasion when you'll be recognized virtually for all your generosity. Let us start with the recognition of the clubs. The top 3 total giving clubs. First of all is Governor's Home Club. Rotary Club of Tampin has got $715,615, right, at top of the list. Thank you very much to Governor Leo for being an AKS chair circle. So immediately Tampin is holding the record, right, record amount. And then we have Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur City Centre, which generously contributed $29,913. And third, we have Rotary Club of Damansara with $27,975. And next, we have the top 3 annual giving clubs. Top of the list, once again, is Governor's Home Club, Rotary Club of Tampin with $204,000. And we have Rotary Club of Damansara, $27,975. And then we have Rotary Club of Bandar Sungai Petani, USD $5,815. Right? And now we have the top 3 annual per capita giving clubs. Once again, Governor's Home Club, Rotary Club of Tampin, with $9,714.29, followed by Rotary Club of Damansara, $874.22, and the Rotary Club of Bandar Sungai Petani with $306.05. And then we have the next is the top 3 Polio Plus clubs, top 3 giving clubs. First of all, Rotary Club of Bandar Sungai Petani with USD $3,669. And then we have Rotary Club of Tampin, $3,265, and followed very closely, all 3 of them are bunched up, Rotary Club Bandar Utama with $3,000. Now we have the clubs that have contributed a minimum of $1,000 for the Polio Plus campaign. Top of the list, Rotary Club of Ampang with $2,000. And then you have 4 other clubs that contributed at least $1,000, Rotary Club of Bangsa, Bukit Angkasa, Cheras, and Gombak. Now we have we still have another 4 more clubs, which is PJ, Sentul, Teluk Intan, Temerloh. All right, so a total of 9 clubs. And the top 3 endowment giving clubs, top of the list, once again, is Governor's Home Club, Rotary Club of Tampin, with just slightly more than $500,000. It's $501,000. And we have Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur City Centre with $25,000, and the Rotary Club of Gombak and the Rotary Club Metro Kuala Lumpur, both with $1,000. And now we have the 100% Paul Harris Fellow Clubs. There are 2 clubs, Bandar Sungai Petani and Sri Petaling. And we have the Rotary Foundation Sustaining Member Clubs. Now we have 4 clubs, Rotary Club of Kuala Kangsar, Rotary Club of Tampin, Rotary Club of Tanjung Bunga, Rotary Club of Temerloh. Now we have a long list of clubs for the EREY clubs. And this year, we're very happy. They have so many clubs that have come forward to support the program in being every Rotarian every year, in which the per capita must be $1,000 and every member must have contributed at least 25 USD. In alphabetical order, you can see from the screen, Ampang, Bandar Sungai Petani, Bandar Utama, Bangsa, Bukit Angkasa, Cheras, Damansara, Central Damansara, Gombak, Indra Makota, Kelana Jaya, Klang, Kuala Pilah, Sri Petaling. Next, please. Kuala Lumpur City Centre, Nilai Central, Penang, Puchong Centennial, Subang, Taiping Lake, Taiping, Tampin, Tanjung Bunga, Teluk Intan, Temerloh, and last but not least, West Pahang. So these are all the clubs, the 26 clubs they have supported in terms of ERUI. Thank you so much to all the clubs in supporting the Rotary Foundation this Rotary year. And now we go on to recognize the major donors for this Rotary year. We have recognized the District First Couple as the AKS Chair Circle. And now for the major donor level 2, we have Past President Edward Khoo and Kim Chin from the Rotary Club of Kuala Lumpur City Centre. Next, we have President Mahendran Perumal and Indrani, Rotary Club of Sri Petaling, and he has responded immediately after a Zoom meeting with Governor. He was so taken by the inspirational contribution of Governor, he decided to top up. So it was only 2 nights ago that Mahendran is now a level 2 major donor. So well done. Now we recognize the level 1 major donors. We have Past President Dr. Chandapal Kaur from Rotary Club of Teluk Intan. And we have Past President Max Michipetula and Anna from the Rotary Club of Seramban. And we have from the Rotary Club of Alostar, Rotarian Dr. Ravindran Palanibelu and Saraswati Krishnan. Next, I'd like to recognize Past President Francois Sigrist and Karen from Rotary Club of Penang. Last but not least, we have Past Assistant Governor Susan Tu Siu Chan from the Rotary Club of Cheras. We actually have one more major donor who decided that he does not want to be recognized officially, but thank you all the same. And let me recognize our major donor level 4, Rotarian Tangkaraju Muthusamy, who has topped up his contribution by another $25,000 US. Thank you to all the very generous contributors and the clubs. Congratulations, and we hope next year we'll have a physical in-house recognition that we can be on stage with all of you. Now I'd like to hand my back to PAG Puni. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Governor Leslie. Rotary leadership, as you all know, changes yearly. To introduce your governor for the year 2022 and 2023, can we have our District Governor, Leo, back on stage, please?
It's my pleasure to introduce District Governor nominee, designate Dr. Krishna Kumar. DGND Dr. Krishna Kumar graduated in 1979 with an MBBS degree from University of Mysore. He retired in 2008 after serving almost 29 years with the Ministry of Health. The last 15 years as Hospital Director at Hospital Kudat, Kuala Kangsar, and Teluk Intan. Dr. Krishna joined Rotary in 2003 as Charter President of Rotary Club of Kuala Kangsar, is currently a member of Rotary Club of Melawati. He has held numerous positions at club and district level, including as Assistant Governor, District General Secretary, Group Study Exchange Team, Member of District Secretariat 5 terms, District Governor Special Representative 2 new clubs, and Member of Rules and Procedures Committee 2 terms, Ballot Committee 2 terms, and Credential Committee. Dr. Krishna is passionate about youth programs and has been a member of the District International Youth Exchange Committee 5 terms, including 2 terms as chairman, alumni chairman 2 terms, and RILA chair. He is married to an active Rotarian, past Assistant Governor Pushpa Krishna, and they are blessed with 2 beautiful children and a grandson called Jack. My fellow Rotarians, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce and present you District Governor nominee for 2020-21, Dr. Krishna Kumar of Rotary Club of Melawati.
My Rotary friends, this has been a dream I have long nurtured, a dream that has now become a reality, a surreal moment that I will always cherish. Yes, I accept the position of District Governor of Rotary District 3300 for Rotary year 22-23 with humility and a promise to do my best. To take up this mantle, I needed the undivided support of my beloved spouse. Thank you, Pushpa, for being here for me, not only as my wife, but also as a fellow Rotarian. I offer my gratitude to all members of my club, Rotary Club of Malawati, for supporting me to realize my dream. And I thank my previous clubs, Rotary Clubs of Kolakangsa, Teluk Intan, and Titiwangsa, for providing me with the experience, and all Rotarians in our district for giving me the opportunity to serve as your governor. And a special thanks to my mentor when I was charter president, past President Patricia Vaithalingam, who is here with us from the UK, where she now resides. Thank you, Patricia. A leader must lead, and I will lead with a vision for our district, which includes, first, to increase public image and awareness of Rotary by encouraging all clubs to carry out sustainable signature projects with impact and to promote them on social media. Second, to urge clubs to do more global grants, thereby increasing donations to the Rotary Foundation as members see the benefit to their clubs and community. Third, to stamp our district's mark in post-disaster rehabilitation and reconstruction by our global grants and Yayasan Club Rotary Malaysia grants. Fourth, to make Rotary fun by encouraging clubs to have more family activities, thereby helping to retain members and attract new members. And fifth, to increase accountability by prompt financial reporting for all district events. My Rotary friends, take a step back and ponder, why are you a Rotarian? It is because you want to make the world a better place, and to do that in an atmosphere of fellowship, in a fraternity of like-minded individuals. Our core values of service, fellowship, diversity, integrity, and leadership are what binds us together as a family of Rotary. I once again thank all of you for placing your confidence in me to lead our district. I will not let you down. Remember, I am here for you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Krishna and Pushpa. The next is Frankly Speaking, a panel discussion with the future leaders of our district. It is my pleasure to introduce the person who needs no introduction. Over to you, Dr. Siva.
Thank you, Puni, and good evening, my dear Rotary brothers and sisters. You know, in the last district conference, I had the pleasure of speaking to you on the Rotary revolution. And now, beyond all of our controls, the revolution is here in the form of COVID-19. This evening, I have the pleasure of hosting this Frankly Speaking session on the topic, the way forward. Please forward your questions to us so that you can have your say during this session. You know, in Hamlet, William Shakespeare wrote, "To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to bear arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing them, end them." Today, the pall of COVID-19 has fallen over the entire world. And now, more than ever in District 3300, we have to decide whether we have the courage to go forward and realize the vision in the Rotary Strategic Plan and the mission of the Rotary Strategic Plan. So today, joining me will be our very own Rotary District 3300 heroes who will be leading us over the next 3 years. Let me introduce them to you. Firstly, I have the pleasure of welcoming our incoming District Governor, Teo Kwan Swee, a banker by profession, so he's certainly somebody we all can bank on in the coming year. Secondly, I have the pleasure of introducing our District Governor nominee, Dato' Bindi Rajasekharan, a realtor whom I'm sure we can all rely on to keep things real for us in District 3300. And last but not least, we have our District Governor nominee designate, Dr. Krishna Kumar, a doctor by profession. The first things that we must aspire towards doing is creating clubs. So, incoming Governor Theo, how do you think clubs can take upon their role in creating a greater impact in their communities?
Thank you, Datuk Siva. Now, looking at where we are, in fact, there's a lot of things the clubs can do to create impact. Yeah, firstly, I think we have to think big, think bold to grow Rotary in our district. Yeah, we have to reach out to those the untapped places. Yeah, we have our presence is not felt in the most part of the country. We have to be inclusive in getting members, reaching out to the young, old, ladies, men, and the young professionals, the people with different cultural backgrounds, especially Chinese speaking and Malay community. Yeah, and of course, we must learn to adjust and adapt to the fast changing world. Yeah, use technology as the enabler of change. And of course, we must embrace the RI's vision, translate all those strategic priorities into actions right down to the club level. That's my take for it.
Thank you, DG and KS. So you believe that clubs really have to reach into the strategic plan and reflect carefully on what they can do to take us forward.
Yes.
So now I turn to DG and Datuk Bindi, and I want to ask her about one of the things that the strategic plan is talking to us about is how we can reach more people in our community to bring them into Rotary. So my question to you, Datuk Bindi, is what can clubs do to expand their reach in their community, especially in terms of increasing their membership in these difficult times?
Thank you for that question, Dr. Siva. A very good afternoon to everyone. All right, looking at the universal trend, there is a decline in membership in all service organizations. But the situation in Rotary is a bit unique. We don't seem to be able to cross the 1.2 million mark. And I'm sure all the clubs will be asking themselves, how do we attract and engage new and active members? And for this, I believe they must ask themselves a further 3 questions: the what, the who, and the how. The what refers to the values. What are the values that your club offers? What is the motivation for this particular person to join your club? Those days when you and I joined Rotary, the reasons we joined Rotary was because we wanted to give back to humanity, do services to society, fellowship, and listen to all these excellent speakers. Those values still stay strong today, but people want more. Those days, 24 hours was enough. These days, 24 hours is just not enough. So if you expect someone to come to your club and spend 1.5 hours at your regular meeting, they are looking for value for their time spent in Rotary. So clubs must ensure they have value that they can give back in terms of providing networking, business networking, international networking, or bigger, bolder, better projects. Now we go on to who is the ideal Rotarian. An ideal Rotarian is one who is socially conscious and who has the means and the expertise to give back to society. And looking further into that, you can go down to the demographics of age. The group below 50 who are the developing leaders and professional businessmen, or above 50, the more established, or the above 65 who are the retired, semi-retired. So it depends on which demographic suits your club. And Rotary International has done a survey, and apparently the most likely group of people to actually become Rotarians are the younger members and women. And lastly, looking at what, who, and how to attract members to the club. Now, let me ask you a question. When you have a function at home, what do? You spruce up your home, you create the ambience, you have food, drinks, and why do you do this? So that your guests, when they come, they feel very comfortable and welcome in your home. So the same principle applies in clubs. Your club, you must get your house in order in terms of succession plan in leadership, in terms of your administration, in terms of the programs you offer, leadership programs, mentoring programs, and so on and so forth. So these are the things that are attracted to others to come and join, the values that you have to come and join. And let me end by just talking a little bit on retention. Now, I sometimes wonder why we spend so much of time and effort looking at recruiting when we should be diverting some of that effort towards retention. Because if we nip the attrition in Rotary, growth will naturally come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dato' Binti. I think you've made some very interesting points. I certainly accept the view that, we should spruce out our homes before we invite people to our house. But then I think more importantly that when people come to our house, they see a very nice, comfortable environment, we shouldn't allow it to be dilapidated soon after that. That means we must always deliver on what we promise. And if our club stands for certain things, we must make sure that that promise is kept. We shouldn't advertise a Mercedes-Benz and sell them a jalopy. I think that's very important. Yeah. Moving on to our district governor nominee designate, Dr. Krishna. Okay. One of the things that they talk about in the Rotary strategic plan is the need for us to engage our communities and our members, perhaps, right? My question to you is, how do you think clubs can better engage the Rotarians, more importantly in terms of younger Rotarians and specifically Rotractors? Your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Siva, for that question. Now, what do you mean by engagement? Engagement means getting your members so involved and excited about your clubs that they're always thinking about your clubs every day and wanting to be a member. Before clubs can actually decide how they want to engage their members, we need to know what makes members stay in Rotary and what makes them leave. Now, a survey done by Rotary International a few years ago showed that members stay because they like to do projects, because they enjoy our fellowship and friendship, and because they like to make contacts outside their normal workplace. Members leave primarily because of cost and time constraints, club environment and culture, or unmet expectations. Now, having known this, what can clubs do to engage their members, especially the new members and the young members? When they join Rotary, these people are excited. They have a lot of ideas. They are waiting to do something. Most of these young members and new members especially, they are more interested in doing projects rather than attending your club meetings. So if your club has got more projects, multiple projects, they have more opportunity to be engaged. And try and diversify your projects so that there are various opportunities for them. Young members like to play an active role. So find out from them what exactly inspires them. Don't presume that a new member or a young member likes to play a role that is connected with his or her vocation. Not necessarily the case. They like to do, but they don't necessarily have to do with their vocation. These new members also want to know that their ideas count, that they are valued. So give them a role to play. Let them even lead your projects. They may do things differently from us. It's okay. Let them do it, guide them, but don't patronize them and don't dominate them. Give them a role, let them take ownership of the project, and you'll be surprised with the results. Now, young members today are very action-oriented. They are tech-savvy, they are always connected. These people are not interested in the traditions that we have in Rotary. We have a lot of traditions. So they want simplicity. So we have to change to engage them. Now, Rotary International has allowed clubs the opportunity to be flexible in our meeting formats. So we should ask the younger members, what exactly do you want in Rotary and try to adapt our club towards them. Younger members have a lot of constraints in terms of cost and family obligations. So let us try to bring down the cost of our meetings by having, say, food can be an option, not necessarily to be there. You can reduce the dues for younger members. You can allow children to attend your club events. Now, let us also ask, why do young members join Rotary? They join primarily because they want to have opportunities for leadership development and networking opportunities. So let us try, so clubs should try to give them opportunities to develop their public speaking skills. Let them be speakers at your club meetings. Now we are having Zoom meetings. Let them be an MC at your Zoom meeting, a moderator at your Zoom meeting. You're going to have your club handover ceremony soon. Let them be the handover there. And this also, let them be the MC there. And this also applies to Rotaractors. See how well the Rotaractors did when we allowed them to be moderators for the District International Assembly, Siva. The Interact Assembly, they did it very well. Now, Rotary International has now formed a partnership with Toastmasters International. And there are a lot of resources available in Toastmasters for personal development and leadership. Try and get these young members to enjoy those resources. There are courses available in the Learning Center on topics such as how to deliver a speech, how to write a speech. So these are available for them. Now you want your young members to attend your meetings. So try and make your meetings appealable to them. Get outside speakers to speak on topics of interest to young members. Get your club members to speak on their vocation. So therefore they can use their vocation to help these people in their career advancement. And let your new members also speak about their vocation. Rotaract is now a membership type of Rotary. So we can use all these things that I've said just now to also engage our Rotaractors. And we can further, clubs can use district grants to help our Rotaract clubs, projects for Rotaract clubs. And we can help the Rotaract clubs to be a partner in our global grants. My friends, 12% of all people, members who leave Rotary normally do so within the first year of membership. Why? Because they're not engaged. So when you induct a member, he becomes a member of your club. When you engage him, that's when he becomes a true Rotarian. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Krishna. I think that those are some very valuable insights that you shared with us. But I have a follow-up question for you, right? One of the things we always say is that we want to attract younger members and we should give them roles to play and so forth. But in many clubs, there is no paradigm shift. What would you say to older Rotarians like us, those of us who have been in the organization for 20, 30 years? What would you say to people like us in relation to how more receptive we should be to younger Rotarians?
I think we older people should take a step back. We have been doing things in a certain way. The young people today, they are connected. They have a different perspective of doing things. So let us take a step back, be brave enough to take a step back, give them a chance, and let's see how they do. If they go on the wrong track, then we can guide them and advise them, but don't, as I said, don't dominate them, don't patronize them. Let them try. Don't be judgmental. Don't be
One of the things I find interesting about we have very few Malays in percentage of population to Malays in Rotary. Yeah, we have some very dedicated Malay Rotarians. Some of them have become our past governors. But still, the absolute number of Rotarians is very small. What suggestions do you have to increase this diversity in our district?
I think basically it's the understanding. Yeah? A lot of Malays have the wrong perception of what Rotary is all about. We have not done enough. Definitely, we have not done enough to create awareness, to provide some kind of education to the Malays. But I'm not talking about everyone. A lot of the so-called young Malay professionals, they are looking at Rotary. They want to be connected. They want to look for business opportunities. They aspire to be, leaders going forward. And in fact, this is a very good platform. Of course, we need the more Malays clubs and the leaders, especially in our own district, to really talk to the Malay community Yeah, we are looking at the educated, the elite, and not everyone. Yeah, so we must be very focused. We must be very kind of target oriented.
So you are all ready to handle this new Malay dilemma in Rotary.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Moving on to our DGN, Bindi. You know, we now have a real challenge with COVID-19. It's a new normal. It's a new reality. What is your suggestion for clubs as to how they can better cope with this new normal?
Very often I hear Rotarians lamenting now that it's going to be very difficult to raise funds for projects. So there has to be a mind shift on revenue diversification and also flexibility. There has to be more newer ways of raising money than the traditional ways of event-based fundraisers. We can use the digital transformation to raise money, like what the Rotaractors did recently on a sing-a-thon on Facebook. They raised quite a number, quite a bit of money. And also, I must tell you about this club in overseas that they recruited 4 or 5 youths to revitalize a lake, you know, and that needed a lot of money. So what these youths did, they went and raised the money through crowdfunding, and they raised quite a bit of money through crowdfunding and revitalized the lake. And they were invited to the United Nations to present this project at the United Nations on not only on the project, but how they raised the money through the digital transformation of this era.
Indeed.
Yeah, so there has to be, you know, if you give a Rotarian a challenge, they will turn it into an opportunity. I'm sure Rotarians are so resourceful, they will come up with great ideas. And the next point is on flexibility. We all learned it the hard way when COVID struck, and all of us became very flexible in terms of meetings and all that. So I think everyone will take it in their stride, what is best for their club in terms of flexibility and how they go about it.
Sure, but surely one of the things that our clubs have to start doing is adopt this new normal, be flexible, and use the available technology to keep their members engaged and to connect with their community. Okay? We apologize for that temporary glitch. Looks like the COVID-19, not the coronavirus, but the computer virus attacked us. And in the words of RTM, siaran tergendala sebentar. Okay, but we are back, and with a question from Rotarian Sanjeev from the Rotary Club of Kelana Jaya. He has put this question, and I think DG Andy Krishna, you would be the one to take this. He says that how many clubs, okay, or not many clubs, okay, ask their members who are below 40 years old to take on leadership positions and to run the club, okay? So what's your advice to them?
I think you have to take a step back. You have to be realistic. You have to give these young people a chance. Let them try. And I'm sure they will excel, and they will probably do better than us. So try, be brave enough, take the challenge, let them do the projects. They will not fail you. They will succeed.
I think that's absolutely true, because, you know, I always tell people in my club this, you know, it's not a question of whether we want to let them take the chance or not. We have to, because we are not going to live forever. So there is a time limit on how long you and I can be here. And unless we pass the torch on to the younger Rotarians, okay, there is not much hope for Rotary in District 3300. That's right. Turning on to our district governor, incoming district governor, KS, there's a question from Siti Zaleha, okay, who says, I may be one of the young Rotarians in my club, okay, but you're right, I'm not keen to attend meetings. I'm not keen to deal with administrative things. So her question is this: is there a support group for young Rotarians that will allow us to come together with our interests regardless of which club we are from? That means, can we have like a young Rotarians group, maybe a WhatsApp group or something like that? What do you think?
This is definitely, you know, absolutely very, very good suggestion. Now, in our club, we have a group of younger Rotarians. They form their own group. Something like, you know, they call it the own interest group or fellowship group, so that they cannot talk, they cannot be on the same page.
Sure.
They can share their interests.
Yes.
Like people like us, you know, I mean, we are drinkers, you know, sometimes we also have our own group, you know, we gather together and say, come, let's go for a drink or something like that. this is definitely something workable.
Yes.
And in fact, it could be very, very effective.
Yes. And if you do form such a group, please include me in the group because I'd like to think of myself as a young Rotarian.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Now, Rotarian Nishal Pandey has this question. Maybe District Governor nominee Bindi, you'd like to handle this. He says it's very critical to see how we handle road tractors, to mentor them to become great leaders in our community. Do you think that Rotary has an obligation to run a proper personal development program to mentor road tractors so that they will become the leaders that can become Rotarians?
Definitely.
Yes.
And I think it's our obligation to do that for our road tractors. And with the new terms that have been released by Rotary International, the assimilation of road track into Rotary, they are almost at par with us. And it's a two-way thing. We learn from them and they learn from us. And we are obliged to train them, give them all the guidance and training and experience, and include them in all our Rotary activities.
Yes, thank you. This question, I think any one of you can take, but maybe DG and D. Krishna, you should take it because you are the third in the line of succession. All right. So the question is this: every year we seem to have a new strategic plan. Every year, and yet we don't see any results from all those targets and goals that we are setting. All right. What is, in your view, the biggest limitation we have in successfully implementing any strategic plan? And after you, I'd like incoming DG Theo to also weigh in on this question. Yeah, please.
The limitation we have had so far is that the governors have acted independently of each other without taking into effect continuity. So now we are actually looking into revamping our strategic plan to put forward a strategic plan that goes on for about 3 to 5 years. And then each governor that comes in sets forward his goals in such a way that we work towards achieving that strategic plan. And that's the way it should be. And I think with the change in mindset now in our district, I think we are going to the right direction.
Sure. Your thoughts on that, incoming Governor Theo?
Yeah, to me, I think the buy-in is very, very important. If you really want to roll out something, you must get buy-in from all the way down. Top district level, all the district committees, all the chairs must buy in, or otherwise don't be part of the team. And all the way down to the clubs level. And of course, on top of that, follow through is very important. We need to follow through. We need to monitor. We need to set KPIs, reward them where necessary. Yeah. So I think this is something, in fact, all three of us will agree that moving forward, we are going to set short-term, medium-term, long-term kind of strategies. Let's agree and work on it.
I think that all the Rotarians in our district would be enormously happy to hear that the three of you are united in this cause towards taking Rotary District 3300 forward to a better place so that we are bigger, better and bolder. I'd like to share a comment from Rotarian Simon Peter Froon. He says this, he says, frankly speaking, the comment about elite is misplaced, right? Whether we have, we always talk about the quality of Rotarians and the quantity. And he says this elitist mentality is something we should forget about. And he says that frankly speaking, technology must be improved so that the communication among Rotarians becomes better. And we need to train the younger generation to lead. You know, on that note, my friends, I would like to perhaps share with you a thought from Lao Tzu. He said, resisting change is like holding your breath. If you persist, you will die. And I think it's important that we don't take that road in District 3300. And I would like to thank our panelists. And I end with this poem by Edgar Guest, who said, have you earned your tomorrow? He says, is anybody happier because you passed this way? Does anybody remember that you spoke to him today? The day is almost over. It's toiling time through. Is there anyone to utter a kind word of you? Did you give a cheerful greeting to a friend who came along, or a churlish shot of howdy and then vanish in the throng? Were you selfish, pure and simple as you rushed along the way, or is someone mighty grateful that he saw you today and that you helped a single brother of the many that you passed today? Is a single heart rejoicing over what you did or said? Does a man whose hopes were fading now with courage look ahead? Did you waste the day and lose it? Was it well spent or sorely spent? Did you leave a trail of kindness or a scar of discontent? As you close your eyes in slumber, do you think that God would say, you have earned one more tomorrow by the work you did today? I hope you have a good day, and may God bless all of you for the wonderful work that you're doing. From us here, all four of us, thank you and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Dr. Sivanandan, and the future leaders of our district. Wow, that was an exciting half an hour, hearing all of you about your future plans and ideas for the district. Now, fellow Rotarians, with that is the end of the first day conference. Thank you all for being here, and see you again tomorrow at 2:45. Don't forget, 2:45 for the second day of the conference. Till then, take care and be safe. Thank you.